Okay. Today we're going to talk about the kingdom within. Okay. So Jesus Christ spoke about the kingdom within. Gautama Buddha spoke about the kingdom within. And Krishna spoke about the kingdom within. Okay. We've all heard talk about the kingdom within. Good morning, good morning, good morning, Jay. We've all heard talk about the kingdom within. Okay. So the kingdom within is in here. Okay. If you want to say the God within, if you want to say the source within, if you want to say the energy within, it's all the same thing. Every human being has awareness. Okay. And with that awareness comes a certain ability. And the ability is to form your reality. Okay. So we're gonna discuss a little bit about that. Okay. So the scripture for you Christians, I have a lot of Christian followers on several platforms. So for you Christians, it reads, "The kingdom of God does not come with observation, nor will they say, 'See here,' nor 'See there.' For indeed, the kingdom of God is within you." Okay, because it's in here. Okay, so that's the way it appears in the Bible. Okay, in different writings, in different books, it appears differently. Okay, but they're saying the same thing, and they're saying that we are all one awareness. Okay, so you are awareness. And because you are aware, you have the capability of bringing things to you, attracting things to you. So that's one of the universal laws. Okay, so awareness of your divine origin is crucial. It's key. It's important. It's important that you realize this. It's important that you understand this. It's important. Okay, because when you understand this, when you get it, when you're aware and you separate yourself from the physical world and you observe the physical world as an observer and not just a participant that gets sucked into everything, that reacts to everything, that becomes a prisoner to everything, then you are able to see. And you shall see the truth, and the truth shall set you free. So let's discuss it a little bit. Okay, so inner peace, okay, not controlled by circumstances, is who you are. Okay, this inner peace that you have. Okay, this inner standing, as it were. Okay, a lot of people refer to it as inner standing. What they're talking about is understanding. But it's from the inside. It's from in here. It's from in you. How does this work? Well, I always talk about it, okay? And today we're gonna dive a little bit more into it, okay? But it's the spiritual world versus the physical world. Okay? Because there's a separation between the two. The spirit is in here. The energy is in here. Okay? Whatever you want to call this in here, it's your spirit, it's your energy. Okay? Some people say it's the soul, some people have a different description of the soul. People get creative. Okay? Human beings get creative. But there's only the spiritual world and the physical world. Okay, there's not 1,000 different worlds. Although quantum physics has discovered 10 dimensions so far. 10 dimensions of possibilities. Okay. Good morning. Oh, Sarah, good morning. Good morning, Sarah. Frozen glitch? Oh, shucks. It's not that way over here. I hope it's not glitching. Maybe that's why it's kind of slowed down a bit. Okay. So anyway, right? The kingdom within. We're talking about the kingdom. Your kingdom. You are the king or the queen of your kingdom. And this is important to realize because you can make decisions that affect outcomes. Okay? And it's not as complicated as you think. It's very easy. Okay? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. Focused on any one thing, and it has to happen because of perception. Okay, now these things, there are some rules. there are some rules to this. Okay, one of the rules is it has to be something that your subconscious can understand. Okay, because if you can't wrap your imagination around it, if you cannot wrap your mind around it, let's say, for example, you want to win the lottery. Let's say you've never won a lottery. Let's say you've never had a ton of money or thousands of dollars in your hands. Okay, you would have to start small. Okay, so start with $20, then go 50, then write affirmations for $100, then write an affirmation for $500. Good morning, Munso. Good morning, good morning. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. You're awesome too. Thank you. Oh, lightning bolt too. Thank you. Wow. Okay. So manifestation is your subconscious. But you are connected to all that is. You are a section, a piece, an extension of the Creator. Okay? And that creation is love energy. Okay? You're in alignment with that in your natural state. But what happens? Life happens. Then what happens? Well, we have negative emotions. Why? Because there's the polarity, the universal law of polarity, which tells us there's positive and negative, yin and yang, good and bad, dark and light. Okay? So what do you have to do to fix this or to remedy this or to, let's say, adjust this so that things can come more easily? You have to relax in here. Okay, you have to relax your thinking. So yesterday I was talking about being on the street when I was in my 20s, and it was tough. Okay, it was not an easy existence. Now looking back, I'm like, yeah, it was fun. I mean, we did a lot of fun things. And there was no responsibility. I didn't own anything. Now I own a family of service companies, but I didn't own anything in my 20s, in my early 20s. In my late 20s, I started my first company when I was 28. And that's when I started waking up. But waking up was a long process. Okay, because it started when I was 13, when my first mentor was putting all this information into me. So human beings, right? Your memory is a lot better than you think. Human beings are like computers. So everything that you think, everything that you speak, everything that you hear, okay? Your subconscious is a culmination of all of your senses. And you have that in your subconscious as memory. 95% of your life is subconscious. What does that mean? Well, that means you don't have to learn to drive the car every day. You don't have to learn to use your utensils every day, to brush your teeth every day. So what happens? Well, you run on autopilot. 95% of your life is autopilot. Things that you've memorized, processes that you've memorized. You've also been conditioned. Okay? You've been conditioned by systems of things. You've been influenced long before social media was a thing. Okay? Television, radio, movies, all of those things. And in the old days, it was even tougher. It was even harder because the selection was very limited. People got their news in movie theaters, so they would run a reel and they would show you what they wanted you to see, and they could control that information. So people got conditioned into things. Okay? The worst enemy of the human being was the television. It's no longer, right? It's no longer. We have other things. We have modern mechanisms, okay? We have modern stuff that can do a much better job of conditioning, okay? So how do you use discernment with all of this? How do you discern what to believe, what not to believe? You choose. So here's the thing about human beings. You need to mix a lie with the truth in order to have, or the truth with a lie, I should say, in order for a human being to believe it. Because human beings are built, we have a built-in lie detector. Okay, we used to, when in radio, we used to call it a BS meter. Just among the people in the studio. I used to work on radio for a while, for a long while. And we used to watch interviews of people, of local celebrities here in Hawaii. And when we used to watch interviews, the question was, did your BS meter go off? Because we knew some of these people. And we knew the truth. Okay, but the general public, you people have a tendency to project what they want the general public to see. So we would talk about it in that way. Okay, but here's one thing that I will share. Okay, people always want to present the good side. Okay, like I'm not gonna sit here and talk about, my personal life and, oh, the drama that I have, or things that challenges that I have, or what, I have challenges, sure. I have just as many challenges as everybody else. You just have challenges at different levels. Okay? So some of you that are just starting out in life, some of you that maybe, have your own business, or some of you that are just getting started, you have a side hustle. Okay? I was there. I was there once upon a time. But I can offer you shortcuts. Okay? By telling you things that the how is God's job. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Moonsoul. The how is God's job, or Source's job, or the universe's job. Whatever you want to call it. Okay? The divine energy within. Because that's what it is. It's divine energy. And we're only here for a while. We are only here for a short experience. This way. You live one time. This way. Okay? So how are you going to spend this time? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Moonso. How are you going to spend this time? Okay. Now, it's not about being a good person per se, okay? But it is about using your positive energy, yeah. So why is it important to use positive energy versus negative energy? Because negative energy does not last. And it has circumstances. And those circumstances come pretty quickly because it's limited. So let's look at the 50 percentile. Okay, this is the 50 percentile. This is positive. This is negative. For you guys, positive, negative, okay? Now, let's say, for example, negativity increases in your life. So now it goes over here. And now maybe there's 20% positivity, but the majority of your life is negative. There's only 3 levels that you can go down. You can go on the street, that's 1. Okay, number 2, there's prison. Okay, and number 3, there's graveyard. That's it, you're done. Okay, when that happens, it's over. Your one time this way comes to an end. So what happens on the positive side? Well, on the positive side, there's no limit to the amount of money you can make. There's no limit to the goodness you can attract. There's no limit to the amount of friends you can make or the people you can love. or the people you can help. There's no amount, there's no limit to the amount of cars you can buy, or clothes you can buy, or shoes, whatever, all the material things. Okay? And I'm here to tell you, when you start to work from the kingdom and acknowledge your divine energy. So namaste, the word namaste means the divinity in me salutes the divinity in you. Or the God in me salutes the God part of you, the God part of me. Why is this important? Because when you tap into that energy, amazing things happen. I did a live this morning, on a short live on one of my my subscription channels on Facebook. And what I mentioned was I had a laundry list of goals. And I met this guy when I was 24 years old, and he was blind. And he was a musical genius, and I saw that in him right away. I sat down to play with him because a priest in our church said, "Hey, you should get to know Wayne. Both of you play music." And I let that sit for a while because I wasn't sure how to talk to a blind man. And I was like, that's interesting. I got to figure out a way to break the ice. I don't want to say the wrong thing. He's blind, all of that, right? So one day I introduced myself. He was playing the organ. I was in church doing the readings for the priest. And then we got together, and the rest, as they say, is history. We accomplished everything in music that we could in Hawaii, including my 9 albums that I currently have, and I have like 4 more that I haven't published yet. The music is done, everything's done, they're just waiting to be published. But anyway, it's not about flexing, it's about you can do this too. But it's also about what that God energy does in here that attracts the things that you need. Because when I met him, it was just he and I playing guitar, sitting on the floor with 2 cheap guitars. I think they were worth maybe $100 a piece. Okay? And it kind of went from there. But then he slowly morphed into an orchestra. He was like a one-man band, a one-man orchestra. And so these things started taking place in front of me. And these were miracles to me. To me, they were miracles. And I was like, wow, okay. But I was his guide for a long time because he needed a guide. He was blind. So I would guide him, to my house, and then we would play, and then I would have to take him home on the bus, but I rode for free because he was blind. So I got on the bus, and I didn't have anything. I was 23 years old. I didn't have anything. I didn't have a car. I didn't even have a driver's license. So how did this progress into all of this that we did? I have no explanation other than it was the God in me and the God in him that got together and started creating. And this is why the journey of Moses talks about the migration from the left brain, the ego, over to the right. Because in the right hemisphere of your brain is creativity. It's intuition. There's intuition. Okay? We're talking about the kingdom within. Okay? Because within the kingdom, you have a choice. You can operate out of ego, the left brain, or you can move over to the right and let go and let God, or let go and let the universe, or let go and let spirit, or let go and let source. Okay? And things just happened. It was amazing how they happened. I just went along for the ride, right? And then I started realizing that, we have something here. And it just kept getting better and better. Well, he died in 2015 of cancer, which was very unexpected. And up until that time, I had achieved everything on my to-do list in life. Because when I left my house at 17, I told my mother I'm not coming back until I'm famous. I made a firm decision at 17. And the next time I went home, it was 10 years later. I wasn't famous yet, but I was becoming known. It was slowly happening. Then when it started to, when the big doors opened, when the opportunity came, right? Preparation meets opportunity. That's when you have success. When the big doors open, everything happened quickly. Boom, 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 boom. And everything started to take shape automatically. It wasn't like I had to work hard, but I wanted to achieve a lot of things and I had a list. And when you put my name in any browser, AI, doesn't matter. You see all of these things that I've done. And you see all of these things that have just come together because I acknowledged the kingdom within. And because I prayed. Okay? Did I meditate? No, not in the beginning. Did I do affirmations? Yeah, I did. Did I do visualization? Oh yeah, since I was 12. Visualization. Okay? Imagining myself there. Imagining. When I was 17, I met Hawaii's greatest star. He was internationally known. His name was Don Ho. And he let me hang out because he knew I was a big fan. And I picked the best guy in Hawaii and the best guy in the United States, which was Frank Sinatra. And I decided to pattern after them because they were the best. Why would I choose somebody less, right? That was my thinking at 17. And he let me in, and I used to sit in his chair when the show was over, when everybody left the showroom. Nobody was in there. I used to sit in his chair behind his organ on the stage. And I just used to sit there and I used to look out at the audience and pretend that an audience was there and that it was my audience. I didn't know I was visualizing. I just thought I was fantasizing. I just thought I was imagining all of this stuff. So I sat there and I imagined. And the funny thing was, when I got my own Waikiki show, years and years and years and years later, my audience was bigger. It was a bigger showroom. His showroom held 250 people. Mine had 350 people. And on opening night, it was packed. There was no room. People were standing in the back of the room. But it took years for that to happen. Okay. But the reason why I'm telling you this is because imagination is important. Being creative here is important. You have to see it here. Bob Proctor, who was a very famous, he passed away, but he was a very famous thought leader. Bob Proctor said, if you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. Which means if you can visualize it, it will materialize. But you have to be able to see it in your mind so that you can hold it or experience it in person. Okay? Thank you, Moonso. Thank you, thank you. It was just unfortunate that he had died before I got there to my goal. But I had an album of his on an easel that he autographed to me, and I had to lay around the album. And my other mentor was there, someone that I patterned after as well, and he was in the room. But the point of it all is, I was totally unaware of what I was doing at that time. At the time that I was sitting in his showroom, I mean. Okay. And I didn't learn these things until 2007 when I went down the rabbit holes. I went down a lot of rabbit holes. Okay. Talk about thousands of hours of lectures. Yeah, there must have been at least a couple thousand hours because I was determined and I was trying to find the next level. And then I discovered that it's not about finding the next level. It's about allowing the next level. It's about relaxing in here, in the kingdom. Gautama Buddha said, the man who sees life as an illusion escapes suffering, mental suffering. He was talking about mental suffering. Well, what's the mental suffering part? Well, when you get caught up in the mirage, the illusion, okay, the things that are placed before you out here in the physical world that come from someone else's in here, someone else's creativity, someone else's imagination, someone else's inventions. When you put your faith in those things, for Christians it's called mammon. Mammon is anything man-made in the physical world that you put your trust in. Because you're supposed to put your trust in here. You're supposed to trust yourself. So in a sense, it's selfish, self-ish. What have we been taught? Oh, we've been taught that's wrong. It's not good to be selfish, to be selfish. We've been taught that being selfish means, no, I'm not sharing. I'm just keeping it all for me, right? It's all mine. But you need to believe in yourself. I was too stupid when I was young. When I was 13, I was too stupid not to believe in myself. Because I thought, I could do this, I could do that, I can do this. A friend of mine was a ventriloquist, and I said, I can do that. And one day I cornered him in a hotel room. I didn't really corner him, but we were in a hotel room. And I said, come on, Freddie, teach me how. What is this ventriloquist thing? Come on, you don't throw your voice, what is it? And I badgered him for a little while, and pretty soon he told me how. And then I practiced it. I didn't have a ventriloquial dummy. Well, it's called a ventriloquial figure, but I didn't have that. And I'm in Hawaii, and they don't have a store with those things in it, right? They didn't have that. They still don't. You have to order it. So I practiced without one. And one day somebody says, you can go on eBay and get them. I'm like, really? So I went on eBay and I found it. And I started practicing, and everything came together, and the rest, as they say, is history. So I became Hawaii's only ventriloquist because my friend Freddie had passed away. But he passed on the secret. I had to be very insistent. I had to pressure him into it, but he taught me how. He explained it. The reason why I'm telling you these stories is not to flex. The reason I'm telling you these stories is that whatever it is that you have in here, the ideas that you have in your right brain, in your imagination, in your creativity, you can bring into the physical world. I did all of it. All of it. So what happened, by the time my friend died in 2015, I had lived all of my dreams. Everything. Everything was just repeating. And the whole time I was teaching as well. So I've always been a teacher. And I had my own school, had the school for a long time before I got known. Okay, so I was a business person before I got known. The school came first. Well, actually, the production company came first, then the school. Then the production company turned into a consulting company in 2010. Then the record company was built. The record company was actually built when the production company was built. It was kind of like a dual kind of thing. And then we separated it. And my companies are all online. You can look for my companies. If you search my name, you'll see the companies. We have everything we've done on Facebook, Instagram, they're all there. Just search my name. But the reason I'm sharing this with you is not because I'm the man, or I'm such a good guy, or such a smart guy, or such a lucky guy. No. Because you can do it too. You can live your dreams too. It all boils down to the kingdom within. The God within, source within, universe within, whatever you want to call it, it's awareness in here. Okay? But if you're too caught up into the world, into the physical world, thank you. It's the knowing, discovering within. Yes. And so Dakota right here is my client. And she's discovered it. And she's slowly getting herself out there again. Rediscovering, if you will. That's why I'm so proud of her. So, you can do this too. All you have to do is imagine it, visualize, and it will materialize. Now, there's two ways to go about it. There's two types of actions. So action, there's physical action, and there's mental action, there's thought. So you can think something into being, and you can put effort behind things to bring it into being. You can also speak things into being. And your clue, okay, especially if you're a Christian, your clue is in Genesis, in the Holy Bible, where God speaks the world into existence. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. Okay, so when you look at it esoterically, it tells you that human beings can speak things into existence. How does that work? It works through your subconscious. A belief is a thought you keep thinking. When you keep speaking something, guess what? Your subconscious is listening. If you focus on it enough, it becomes a belief. When it becomes a belief, your subconscious starts to create pathways towards it. Your subconscious goes, hey, maybe you can do this. Maybe you can do this. Maybe you can do that. Maybe you can do that. This, all at one thing. And pretty soon, guess what happens? It starts to come into existence. It starts to take shape. So the word abracadabra, right, means I create as I speak. Because you do create as you speak. Okay? It's not the kind of magic that you've been conditioned to believe. It's through your subconscious. So when you see the magician go abracadabra with the magic wand, okay, that's show. It's your subconscious. And pretty soon it starts to take shape, and pretty soon it shows up. First you think it, then you do it. First you think it, then it starts to form. It starts to take shape. 5,000 years ago in the Emerald Tablets, creation was pronounced complete. Everything is created. Everything has been created. the emerald tablets of Thoth. Everything has been created. That was 5,000 years ago. The Bible was in the previous age, 2,000 years ago. So the kingdom within, your beliefs shape perception. What do you believe to be true? Like I said, when I started out, when I was 13 and I was dreaming of all these things that I did, all these things that materialized into my life, I was too stupid to think that I couldn't do it. Nobody told me I couldn't do it. You know what people were telling me? They were going, "You're so smart. You could do this, you could do that, you could do this, you could do that." It only gave me more ideas. So I was like, okay, if I'm so smart, then I can do this. If I can have, do, or be anything, which is what my mentor was telling me, okay, then I want to do all these things. Then I made a list. I made a mental list. Okay, I want to be on TV. I want to be on radio. I want to be on stage. I want to do shows. I want to do. And then later in business, I started liking business because my mentor forced me to do business. He pressured me into it. And I said, no, I just want to be the talent guy that shows up and does the show, and I can have a manager. And then he started explaining things and how things really worked. And I was like, okay, I'll go into business. And I started my production company. And the rest, as they say, is history. But I didn't know how. I did not know how. I just took the steps. That's all I did. And the doors began to open as I took the steps. I didn't know how for the voice school. I didn't know how. I didn't know how for the consulting company in 2010. The same year that Here For You Life Coaching was started. And you can check us out on Google. We have 5-star reviews. That's all we have. And the voice school, you can look it up on Trustpilot, Voicemaster Vocal Development. So, what happened? I don't know. I just said, okay, we're going to do this. And I took the steps and boom, it happened. For the consulting company, my first client, which was a chain of nationally recognized stores, like this huge chain in America, in the upper 48 states. I'm not going to mention the name because I have a non-disclosure with them, but it starts with a W. Oh, yeah, you know, right? Okay. So, but that client came from my school. It was the district manager's wife that was already bringing her daughter to my voice school. And when I told her I built a consulting company, she goes, "Wow, maybe you can help my husband." I was like, "Well, what does your husband do?" "Oh, he's the district manager for all of these stores." I'm like, whoa. And we were tested by fire, but I didn't know how. I didn't know where the clients were going to come from. I didn't know, but I trusted in the kingdom within. I trusted in here. That's all I did. And I just took the steps. Baby steps is all it takes for whatever it is you want. Whatever it is you want. What do you want? That's the question. Okay, so write it down. I am so happy and grateful now that I have my designer clothing company. Thank you. I am so happy and grateful now that I have my fashion designer company. Thank you. I am so happy and grateful now that I have my makeup consultant company. Thank you. See, when I started, there was no internet, there was no YouTube, there was no Facebook, there was no Instagram, no TikTok, no, okay, none of it. But I had this idea in my head that I could do these things simultaneously. So I did. Then when the digital age came out, I'm like, oh, I can get a free site on Facebook. I can get a free site on Instagram, a free, right, account, right? You guys have it easy. You guys have it so easy. You guys have free this, free that, free all kinds of stuff. It's so much easier. But the thing that manifested for me was my idea that I could do all these things simultaneously. And then when the digital world came, it got easier and easier, easier. And I'm like, oh, okay. So one day I worked at this job. The other day I did this thing. The next day I did this thing. I divided my calendar into block times for the 4 companies. Simultaneously, every day I did a little bit of work on each thing. And guess what? It started to build. And my idea manifested. It had nothing to do with me exclusively. It was just the technological age. But it happened. And when I saw it and I saw high school students making tons of money in high school, I'm like, whoa, I wish I had that when I was in high school. You know, I wish that was that way when I was a kid. Now there's all these things. Now it's so easy. Because in the old days, you had to just sell to the people around you. You had to cater to the people around you. Now I teach in the United Kingdom. Sarah, she's a client in the United Kingdom. I teach all over the United States. I can teach all over the world. It depends on where the clients come from. And we do it just like this. Just like this. Every day, except Tuesday. And I can still do all these different things, but I do them online now. That's the only difference. What's the drawback? What's the downside? Well, I started manifesting everything digital. And the last thing to move online was my singing school, because it was in the neighborhood. And when the pandemic happened, we were forced to go online. Otherwise, I probably would not have moved it online. And the office sat empty for about 9 months. It was a lot of money with you know, a lot less clients at the time during the pandemic. But we were online with the clients that we did have. And then we branched out and we started teaching across the country. What was the downside? Well, the downside is like now I'm here like this, okay? So I'm here in front of my laptop. I'm here in front of my iPad. I'm here in front of the phone. I'm here in the digital world. So I got my wish. Okay, be careful what you wish for, okay? Be careful what you wish for. I got my wish and everything is online. And now I miss people. I miss that interaction. So I go to the store a lot. I go to Starbucks a lot. Because I miss the interaction with people. The in-person interaction. So be careful what you wish for, because you may miss people if you're always online. You know, balance is key, okay? Balance. I don't regret anything. I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful for everything. I'm grateful for all the beautiful people that I've met and all the lives that I've been able to touch in some way. And this is why we sit here for an hour every day. This is my volunteer work. This is my community service, and I didn't do anything wrong. I'm just here, okay? So the kingdom within is about inner stillness and awareness. But this awareness in here is your power. It brings things to you. Okay? It brings you money. It brings you love. It brings you work. It brings you everything. But first, you have to get rid of the negative emotions. Anything related to fear and all the negative emotions are rooted in fear and doubt. Doubt is also rooted in fear because when you're doubting, there's something that you're fearing that you're not consciously aware of, but it's subconscious. And you're not really aware of everything that you have as far as beliefs in your subconscious. You're not really aware of that. You're not aware until it comes up, until it surfaces, until something happens and you go, oh, I feel this way about that, or I feel this way about that. Stillness lowers mental noise. The more still you become over time, the mental chatter dies down. And then when you go into your meditation, when you are still, you go into your meditation and you can feel the expansiveness of all that is. When you close your distractors like this and you sit and you can put on 432 hertz music, YouTube has that. You can do that. Okay. If you need music, I have a link that I can send you. Okay, so just message me and ask me for the link for the music or email me. Send me your email. It's easier to send via email than it is on a link. And there's a breathing exercise in the description. And I'll give it to you for free. Don't worry about it. Just email me. Send me your email. I'll send it to you. But you just need to relax in here. And when you relax in here, so relaxation is the same as confidence, because relaxation starts to open the doors. When you are relaxed in here, everything that is you starts to manifest. Everything that is meant for you. So what are your interests? Maybe you always wanted to be a nurse. When you get relaxed in here, the journey becomes easier. Oh, now I got my courses. Oh, now I got my grants. Now I can pay for school. Now I can go to school. Now I can be a nurse. Now I can start my career. Now I started making a lot of money because I'm a nurse, or whatever it is, right? Whatever it is. Okay? But you don't have to struggle through life. Life is not supposed to be a struggle. Life is a challenge, but the challenge doesn't have to be a struggle. I don't struggle anymore. I haven't struggled for years. Years and years and years. Since 2007. It's 2026. In fact, I stopped struggling right around 1999, but I didn't have this knowledge. I didn't know what it was. Okay, so affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. I didn't learn about these things until 2007. And then it took 3 years. And in 2010, I formed this company, Here For You Life Coaching. I already had my voice school. The voice school was founded in 1989. So I already had businesses. I already had businesses when I was on the radio. I already had businesses when I was doing television. In fact, I had my first company when I was doing television for the first time. So I have faced a lot of discrimination, a lot of professional jealousy, because I work with people that, over the years, I worked with people that didn't have anything. All they had was a job. And then, oh, I had these other things, right? These companies. And so I never needed to depend on the things that they depended on, like the job. If it was there, it was there. If it wasn't there, I had my own. I had my own companies. And it was a challenge. It's still a challenge, right? It's still a challenge. But here's the thing I learned. There's an old saying, and the old saying goes that if you, whatever you want in life, when you help someone else get theirs first, like whatever they want, the things that you want come easily. The things that you want almost come automatically, effortlessly. In other words, you don't have to struggle for it because you have alignment. Because you have alignment within. The conscious, subconscious, and superconscious are aligned inside. Why are they aligned? Because you don't have stress going on in here. You don't have overthinking going on in here. That's what the vocalization exercise does. It gets rid of anxiety. It gets rid of overthinking. It settles you down. My clients on the chat over here, on this platform, they can tell you that. And what happens then? Awareness increases. Awareness is enhanced. Your awareness didn't go away. Okay, your intuition didn't go away. It's there. But the other noise is louder. The overthinking is louder. Society's boom, 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 boom. The music, the movies, the television, the scrolling. All of those influences are louder. But when you use your voice separates you from the chatter. Your voice pulls you out of this, and now meditation becomes easier. Now you can sit still. So the vocalization exercise is the most important. That pulls you out. It separates you from everything, from the physical world. When you do the vocalization exercise, oxytocin and endorphins stimulate. And when that happens, you start to calm inside. It's a hormonal response. Okay, we don't make medical claims, but a lot of people got off of medicine. Things like Xanax, whatever, some anti-depression meds. Okay. I don't recall all the names of them, but several, in fact, more than several. And I've worked with over 7,000 people in 37 years. All of them got better. All of them got confident. All of them got settled in here. But when you help others, okay, so remember this is really important. When you help others, when you help someone else accomplish their goal, you get yours almost automatic. Doors open, like so easy, like, whoa, how did that happen? How did that opportunity happen? Whoa, like, it's like that. Sometimes I have to wait when I want something. Sometimes I write my affirmation and I have to wait. And I wait a few days. Sometimes I wait a week. And then it happens. And I'm like, whoa, how does it happen like that? Well, you sharpen your subconscious when you start writing your affirmations daily. You have to write them. You have to write them. I see young people, telling people just to type them in their phone like that. That doesn't work. You have to write them and then speak it out loud every night. But it's important when you write it. Okay, so you need to write it when your brain is in theta state, when you're fully relaxed in here, and then speak it out loud when you're fully relaxed before you turn off the light and go to bed. So there's a how-to with all of these things. There's a formula with all of these things. There's a way to do these things so that they happen quickly, so that they change your life. And if you go and look online, so go to our Google site. That's where the reviews are. Here for You Life Coaching Honolulu, Hawaii. I'm in Hawaii. And just read the reviews. And if you need help, I'm here for you. If you need to be separated from the nonsense, if you have an overthinking problem, because we live in a stimulus society, stimulus based society, everything is dopamine. Everything is, whoa, wow, I can't believe I saw that. Whoa, I can't unsee that. And people get affected. People get galvanized. Okay, you get desensitized. You need to be resensitized. Because when you're resensitized, awareness goes like this. See? So I always describe awareness like this. If you have stress, if you have overthinking, awareness goes into hiding. It doesn't disappear. It's still there. You still get the signals, but it's soft. Okay? When you take away the stress, because everything's piled on you over here, mentally, emotionally. And then when you start going like this, you start doing the vocalization exercise, awareness starts to open. And then you go, wow, yeah. Now I can feel more. Now I can imagine more. Now I hear that. I get that feeling, right? You hear it like your voice. Okay? It's not really your voice, but it's a feeling that you get. Okay? You're driving down the street, get that feeling to turn right. And then you turn right. And oh, you did the right thing. When you dismiss it, you go straight ahead, get stuck in a traffic jam. What do you say? You go, I knew I should have turned. Right? Okay. So I have clients today. I have to get going, you guys, but yeah, if you need help, and TikTok, hang on. I'm great. Yes, it does. It does flip your mindset. That's my client. That's my client right there, Janice. Yep. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. So we will see you guys tomorrow again in the morning, 7 a.m. in the morning. I will be here. Okay? I'll be here for you guys. So if you have any questions, just inbox me on all of the respective platforms, and I'll be happy to address any or all of your questions.